Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Safari Mack Returns to Africa. I'm Safari Mack, your guide and host, helping you make connections to the wild. Hey everybody, I hope you're all having a good 2026 so far. I know I am, now that we're back still in East Africa, or the Serengeti National Park, where we continue our migration with the wildebeest, or Chahiti. Please forgive me. I can't get this one right. I mean, you know what? I don't care. I don't care anyway. I mean, especially when people call them ugly, they're not that ugly. In fact, there's a kind of prettiness to them, I think, especially with this face. But enough about that. Let's get back into it. But before we begin, if you're new to my channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Check out my Facebook page for content on conservation. And if you have a question about animals or an animal that you want me to do in the future, you just have to send me an email, which you will always find the link to down in the description below. But if you're ready, let's get to it. Well, let's go into the wild things. Now, it turns out from studies by biologists that study these creatures along their migration, with herds that have large herds, there's been recordings of the offspring actually having an 80% survival rate than those of smaller herds, where they could be, or that number is reduced to 50% chance of survival rating. Hey, you know, this is part of the circle of life. Now, they may look slow and clumsy, but these guys can run fast, up to 50 miles an hour. Can you top that speed? And of course, being able to run that fast, they need that endurance to especially survive in the long run from predators, thirst, hunger, and of course exhaustion. Now, of course, these herds are not ever alone. These migrations are always accompanied by zebras and gazelles as they constantly chase the rains to find fresh grass and fresh water. And so they need each other to survive. The zebras actually are known to eat the tall, drier, coarse grass, which provides more nutritional, shorter grass for the wildebeest, and then also the gazelles. So all these herbivores are connected to one another in ways that we probably didn't even realize. And of course, just to give you an idea of how intense the wildebeest calf really does have it, let's think of it like this. From the moment they're born, they have to hit the ground running, right? But by the time this calf is 1 year old, this calf will have traveled more than 4,000 miles. Can you say that your kid ever traveled over 4,000 miles within a year? I mean, that would be physically impossible for us, but for animals that have evolved for this trait, it's nothing more than a little sprint. Now, you would think that these guys are doing pretty alright, and they kind of are, but they still face problems and challenges, even in protected regions. Threats and challenges. Unfortunately, they do face problems. One of the biggest problems for them? Fences. You see, unfortunately, fences are obstructions for many different animals, not just wildebeest, but zebras, gazelle, giraffe, the buffalo, even predators such as the lions. When you have fences in the way, you're obstructing an ancient path, and then it may take you even longer to find another way to get through. So this has been causing problems for wildebeests and many other animals. But it gets worse. Poachers have been seen killing these animals for their meat, their leather, and other bits to sell on the black market, even using snare traps, which, if the animal does escape, can severely handicap them, either severely hurting them, or maybe even losing a limb. I know it's graphic and it's a little gruesome, but this is the truth. Another problem that we may not realize is tourism is also taking its effect. Now, don't get me wrong, The support of tourism to the Serengeti National Park is highly indispensable. It's needed for this land to continue to thrive and flourish and support millions of different animals. But there is a thing when it can be a little obsessive, very obsessive. See, when you see all these safari vehicles parked, at first it's like no problem, right? But if it's in the middle of something, like let's say when the wildebeest are crossing rivers such as the Mara River, which is a pretty big epic as they have to face the crocodiles that are waiting for them, as well as not drown or get trampled from each other just trying to get out. When you have vehicles in the way, that causes even more stress and more problems and more challenges. Does that sound right to you? And there's even been reports about how a long time ago there was a proposal to build a highway through the Serengeti, which, you know, I'm not against it what I'm not against about it is helping the people that live there to get more resources and supplies, but to cut like right through this ancient land, that really doesn't make sense, because then how is the wildlife supposed to travel through? Or imagine all the roadkill that will come with it and disrupting the ancient landscape and rhythms of this incredible place. There's even been reports about Ritz-Carlton trying to build a hotel within the Serengeti National Park. I don't know about you, but that honestly makes no sense to me whatsoever. Thankfully, though, there is help. Wildebeests are getting help, and it's great. So, one of the conservation measures, of course, has been tagging wildebeests with radio collars so that they can, and other forms of tracking, so we can continue to track their movements and ensure what can we do to help keep these animals secure on their ancient paths as they continue the endless running for food and water. Another big help has been the park rangers. You should applaud them every time you see them or meet them, because these people are risking their lives every day to keep these animals safe from poaching, loss of habitat. They are doing everything to keep nature alive. And so, and of course, a number one thing that we should always keep in mind, wildlife corridors work. They work. You just have to keep them strong, and we have to maintain them. We can't just, let it be taken to chance. We have to do our part. This is our form of responsibility as a species. Another way that we've been able to, thanks to the people who speak out also, that highway idea through the Serengeti, it's proposed to have a different route along the borders so that nature can continue its ancient rhythm. We need to do what we can for this animal, because when you think about it, this is one of those species that actually predominates the Serengeti National Park, because they affect millions of animals, not just the predators. I'm not talking just the lions, leopards, hyenas, wild dogs, and cheetahs. No. I'm talking about even the herbivores and the landscape itself. What will the land do if this animal disappears from the Serengeti, or from Africa for that matter? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for starting 2026 with me with the wildebeest. And so join me next week as we join up with another migrant that travels alongside the wildebeest, the zebra. But until next time, this is Safari Mack, and I'll see you all out there.